Hey guys, JD Birds here with a new video. Now, as you may know, I'm a Warhammer and an Army Men fan, but I am a huge Halo fan. Ever since I played Combat Evolved as a kid, I've been hooked. As I dove deeper into the Halo community, I discovered Red vs. Blue and became a fan of it around the time Reconstruction started. From the characters, the action, and the comedy, I loved every bit of it. Now, one question that has been on every fan's mind is where does Red vs. Blue take place in the Halo timeline? But that question has been answered, with Rooster Teeth saying that it takes place in an alternate universe from the Halo universe. But that's no fun, so I did what the internet does and come up with a convoluted theory of where Red vs. Blue takes place in the Halo timeline. Now I feel I have to say this, none of this is canon by any means. This is just to have fun with the idea, like a fanfic, if you want to call it that. Also, spoiler alert for Red vs. Blue and Halo, so there's your warning. So, here it is, the Red vs. Blue timeline theory. Our calendar begins in the era between 852 BCE and 2520 AD. Long ago, Sangheili leave a stockpile of Covenant weapons on Chorus for unknown reasons, and leaves the AI, later to be called Santa, to guard it. Between the years of 2490 and 2520, Chorus is colonized on the edge of UNSC space. The colony surprisingly stays loyal to the UNSC, despite many planets being against the United Earth government. 2517, the Spartan 2 program is launched. On February 3rd, 2525, the Great War begins when Kig Yard raiding parties hit Harvest supply lines. Soon after, the first battle begins, resulting in the loss of Harvest and a declaration of war from the Covenant. Soon after this announcement, Sarge enlists in the Army, Allison in the Marines, Dr. Church possibly enlists in the Navy or the Office of Naval Intelligence itself. We're not really sure, it is never stated, but it's most likely Oni itself. Locus and Felix enlist in the UNSC Marines or the Army, again we don't know which. Soon after enlistment, Allison dies. We can only speculate to when she died, most likely during the early stages of the Harvest campaign in 2526, since most of the battles at the same time of her enlistment were naval engagements. As the war raged on in multiple sectors, the UNSC start to neglect the outer colonies, due to the fact that the colonies were deemed not important enough, or the UNSC's forces were stretched thin. Chorus is left to govern itself, and is surprisingly ignored by the Covenant. Between 2530 and 2556, Chorus ignites into a civil war, dividing into two factions, the New Republic and the Federal Army of Chorus. Impressed with the success of the Spartan 2 program, the UNSC tries to find more cost-effective ways to make super soldiers and weapons. They start funding secret projects and hiring special companies to develop technology. Charon Industries becomes one of those companies. In 2531, the Spartan 3 program and Project Freelancer are launched. Dr. Leonard Church is put in charge of Project Freelancer. In 2540, Charon Industries starts to test weapons and cryogenics for the UNSC. Between 2545 and 2549, Carolina and York meet at Club Aurora. Since Club Aurora is on Reach, we can assume they met before the fall of the planet. During this time, they also join Project Freelancer. 2551. As the Mark V is put into production, Project Freelancer also starts making cheaper variants to put on regular soldiers. They also augment their soldiers to carry Mark VI armor. Late 2551. Project Freelancer has successful tests with drone technology, making humanoid drones that can be driven by AIs. December 2551. Charon Industries are able to capture a Hurgat, or engineer, and begin studying it. Early 2552. Project Freelancer raids the Charon Cryogenics Research Facility in the Arctic Ocean. They are successful in getting Charon's info. At this time, Dr. Church lies to his agents, telling them that they're facing forces loyal to the insurrection. In reality, they are fighting mercenaries and UNSC soldiers assigned to Charon Industries. Between January of 2552 and March of 2552, the AI Alpha, later to be called Church, is created. January 24th, 2552, the Battle of Tribute starts, with Felix and Locust present. We can tell that they were part of this battle from Season 12, Episode 6, where Kimball says they were part of one of the worst battles in UNSC history. Tribute saw 90% of their fleet lost and half their population destroyed in this battle. We also get a flashback sequence with Locus and Felix fighting during the Great War. The city they are in is a city on Tribute. Also, on July 24th, 2552, the Fall Reach begins, with elite zealots infiltrating a UNSC comms array. In summer of 2552, Project Freelancers spend their time training. Agent Texas becomes active during this time. Agent York is injured during a training session with Agent Texas and loses his eye. Late July 2552, Spartan Team Black is deployed to the colony of Verge that is being used to supply Covenant ships on Tribute. They destroy the facility, buying Tribute more time. Late August 2552, the Pillar of Autumn leaves Reach as it is destroyed by the fleet of Particular Justice. Also in August of 2552, trying to escape the Battle of Tribute, the freighter, Floral Express, makes a random slip space jump and discovers Installation 03, Gamma Halo. September 19, 2552, Installation 04, Alpha Halo is discovered. As it is found, the Battle of Installation 04 begins. September 22nd, 2552, the Battle of Installation 04 ends and the skirmish over Threshold begins, as John 117, Linda 058, Avery Johnson, and a squad of survivors from the Battle of Installation 04 hijack the Covenant carrier, ascend in Justice, and make their way to Reach. Late September 2552, Operation First Strike occurs, resulting in the destruction of Battle Station Unyielding Hierophant, delaying the invasion of Earth. Late September 2552, Griffin Simmons joined the Army. Early October 2552, UNSC High Command starts fearing that Earth is the Covenant's next target, and start moving assets away from the Sol System. Charon Industries decides to start moving assets as well. Between October 15th and 18th, 2552, Malcolm Hargrove is made chairman of the UNSC Oversight Subcommittee. October 19th, 2552, Project Freelancer plans a mission to get a package known as the Sarcophagus, containing a Covenant engineer, from Charon Industries' New Mombasa HQ. Charon Industries plans to move the engineer to a safer location. Project Freelancer sees this as the perfect chance to steal the sarcophagus. It is hard to prove that the planet in Season 9 is Earth, but we can tell it is New Mombasa from similar buildings, police uniforms, and police car colors that we see in the film. Also, one of the buildings that Carolina runs past in one of her run sequences is the building that Alpha 9 engages a brute chieftain on. Early October 20th, 2552, Project Freelancer attacks and steals the sarcophagus. Once the battle is over and their extraction complete, the Prophet of Regret's fleet arrives at Earth, which is probably why no one questioned a Mac round hitting the building. It's like they said in Mass Effect.
If you pull the trigger on this, you are ruining someone's day, somewhere and sometime.
Huh. Someone didn't check their targets. Project Freelancer leaves before the battle hits the surface and escapes in the chaos. During the battle, civilians are evacuated from New Mombasa, with Sharkface and Demoman being dug out of the rubble of the Charon Industries HQ building and evacuated with everyone else. Sharkface is hospitalized and goes through physical therapy. Demoman regroups all Charon forces and heads for the Charon Industries Longshore shipyard site in order to protect their assets from Covenant attack. Mid-October 20th, 2552, the Prophet of Regret's carrier jumps in the middle of New Mombasa just as ODST unit Alpha 9 drops into New Mombasa. Late October 2552, CT allies with Charon Industries once she discovers what the director's plans really are. November 22nd, 2552, Installation 05 Delta Halo is discovered by UNSC in amber clad, and the Battle of Installation 05 begins. With knowledge of Installation 03, Project Freelancer petitions Oni to start setting up training grounds on the Ringworld, to which Oni agrees. Early, November 3rd, 2552, the Great Schism begins, as the Shang-Shayum and Jorohanai betray the Sangili. The Covenant splits into two factions, Loyalists and Separatists. Late November 3rd, 2552, in the skies of Tribute, Brute and Elite ships turn against one another and start blowing each other apart, resulting in both fleets pulling back to regroup. Tribute survives the battle, and Felix and Locust live to fight another day. November 2552, Project Freelancers decides to lay low and conduct more torturous experiments on the Alpha AI. After securing the engineer, Project Freelancer starts to use it to create new AI fragments, the first of them being Omega and Delta. November 17th, 2552, the Battle of Earth ends with the City of Void being destroyed to prevent flood from spreading. December 11th, 2552, the Battle of Installation 00 begins as human and Sangheili forces head through the portal to stop the Prophet of Truth from activating the Halo Array. Late December 11th, 2552, the Battle of Installation 00 comes to an end, with the Arbiter and Master Chief activating Installation 04B and putting an end to the flood once and for all. On December 23rd, 2552, the Arbiter's half of the craft, Forward Onto Dawn, made it to Earth, with Master Chief being lost to space. March 3rd, 2553. The war comes to an official end as a peace treaty is signed between the Arbiter's Sangheili and the UNSC. Late March 2553. The Anvil Initiative is launched, a joint effort between humans and Sangheili. Spartan and elites begin to train together on board Anvil Station. One of these co-op events is a sports game that is broadcast to the public as shown in Season 10, Episode 1. At this time, Project Freelancer launches an assault on the UNSC scrap metal recycling station. Near the end of the battle, CT fully defects to Charon. The insurrectionist leader escapes, with Data leading the Forerunner artifacts and Data on Project Freelancer. April 2553. Project Freelancer begins their assault on Longshore Shipyard, resulting in the death of CT and crippling of Charon operations. Late April 2553. CT's message is received by Texas. She learns the true purpose of the Director's AI and metastability projects. At this time, Agent Washington is also implanted with the Epsilon AI. With his breakdown upon receiving the Epsilon AI, the project is put on hold, and Project Freelancer begins to remove AI from all their agents. Late April 2553. The Freelancer Rebellion begins. Agents Texas and York try to correct their mistakes and free the Alpha. The rebellion causes the ship, the Mother of Intervention, to crash land on the planet of Sidewinder, a small system near Installation 03. After the rebellion, Agent Carolina is presumed dead. Agent York and Texas go into hiding. Agent Maine, now called the Meta, is on the run, hunting down the remaining AI. May 2553. With the rebellion over, the Director decides to hide the Alpha in order to make sure no one can find him. He assigns Agent Florida, aka Butch Flowers, to guard the Alpha. They send the two to a training facility on Installation 03, codename Blood Gulch. Sarge is transferred from his old simulation post and made the new leader of the Blood Gulch Reds. Due to low test scores, Griff, Tucker, Simmons, and Caboose are also sent to Blood Gulch. September 2553. Agent Flowers is presumed dead after an apparent heart attack. Late September 2553. Project Freelancer notices that the Covenant are still a threat. They decide to test a plan through simulation. They plan to raise the Sangheili under the UNSC and use them to infiltrate the Covenant factions and bring them down from within. In order to get the go-ahead from the UNSC, they need a test in order to make sure the plan works. And so, they begin the Blood Gulch simulation. And that's it for part 1 of this theory. I'm not entirely sure when part 2 will come out, since I've been busy with school, but thanks for watching anyway. Whether or not this theory was right or wrong, most likely wrong, it was still a blast doing it. I love Halo and I love Red vs. Blue, and the thought of the two universes being together intrigued me. I had a great time doing the theory. Stay tuned for part 2. Hey guys, JD Birds here again. Thanks for watching this video. If you like, go ahead and like and subscribe.